Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Sam Kwak and one of the Kwak Brothers, and welcome to our special show. Happy New Year to all of you. We got a lot of us here joining us. We got Daniel. We made it, baby. It's not 2020 anymore.
Yes, and I'm back. Yeah, that's right. We're done with 2020. We're going to leave that back, and we're going to do with 2021. Hopefully it's better.
Right. Absolutely. So with that being said, guys, apologize for the late start. Our tech isn't here, so we were trying to set things up here. But nevertheless, we are here. We got an awesome show for you guys. We're going to talk about the stimulus update, Bitcoin, 2021 housing market. Also, Joel's going to feed us some content. I know Joel likes to do a lot of research. To be quite honest, I think he has more ins on the news than I do.
You're a little busy.
I am a little busy. I am running a real business, so I don't just sit around and make YouTube videos. Although,
wait, hold on, guys. Sam needs his coffee. let's have our assistant Jose. Everyone, yay!
Yeah, we need our coffee.
Sam needs his milk.
My what? My what now?
Sam, you need your milk.
My milk?
Yeah, you need your milk.
Tomorrow says Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well.
Happy New Year, Thomas. What's going on?
To you, absolutely.
Thomas, tell us, man, what are your goals for 2021? Anybody on here? We've got about a little over under 30 people. Tell us your goals for 2021, and we'll teach you. Maybe we get some insight. Right? We got some 3 people here, so maybe we got something we can do.
Yeah. Absolutely, and then also, you know, we'll lead the show with some questions and content. If you have any questions about, hey, what is 2021 going to look like as far as the HELOC strategy or investing in real estate, investing in general, making money, what would 2021 look like? Daniel and I think the rest of us here, we've been talking about how there might be a strong probability that there might be a market crash in 2021, and I think a lot of the not only the YouTuber finance channels agree, but also a lot of different financial professionals and financial experts agree with us in that regard. So Daniel, I know we've been making content about this, but give us a refresher. How does one person invest best in 2021?
I'm seeing the audio is a little bit off.
Yeah, we apologize for any issues. Again, Sam was out late drinking last night, so we may have some issues here. You know, so we get it. You know what I mean? All right. So, who's believe in Cardano and the chain? Are those Indian gods I don't know about that we should be worshiping?
Cardano and the chain.
The chain. What is that? It sounds like a rapper's name. But anyways, let's talk about the housing market in 2021. My prediction for the housing market 2021, I believe, in my opinion, I think it's the most unpredictable year when it comes to the housing market. If you think about what housing is, by the way, is never a leading market, except when you're talking about securities, except when you're talking about mortgage bonds. It's not anything that's going to lead into any shift or change in the economy. Typically, what you see is real estate is a reactive market. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we have a lot of companies right now that are hitting the headlines, right? I think, by the way, any YouTuber that makes a video on Tesla, they're getting like 100,000, 1 million views, right? Kevin. But I mean, but I get it. You know what I mean? Like, these are big companies that people want to talk about, you know? And if you think about what's going on right now, the big topics are what? The California exodus. You've got people living states like Illinois. You have people moving into states like Tennessee, Texas, Oklahoma, Utah, right, Arizona. You got all these states moving. So if you think about what's happening, typically the usual pattern, for those of you guys that want to look into this in the future, the usual pattern is that a lot of fiscal and monetary policy and a lot of policy changes will shift individuals. And if you think about what real estate is, it's location, 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 right? It's all about where do people want to move. And guys like me, we're reactive to what the data says. Mm-hmm. So if a lot of people are saying, hey, I want to move to Texas, this whole California, who's the governor?
California?
Yeah.
Gary Newsom? Is Gary Newsom
Gary Newsom Chang, right? Because I'm pretty sure his last name is Chinese because of the amount of people that he helps that are Chinese. But in all seriousness, right, a lot of people move out of California, they move into Texas, and guys like me react to that. So for those of you guys watching, for 2021, let's ask ourselves the question, what is happening in the real estate market? Because, we have stuff like the Federal Reserve buying up private securities and buying up private investments. So a lot of people are going to see a big increase in money supply in 2021. Yeah. We're seeing stuff like delinquency rates. We're seeing stuff like default rates. We're seeing stuff like REOs that are continuing to happen. I think the inventory is going to balance out. That's something you can bet on.
I was going to ask,
Danny,
what do you say to the people that don't think we're going to see that market crash?
Yeah.
You know, and that will say, well, you know, we're seeing that. You know, and I think there's so many things that are new. I mean, we have the stimulus coming out. you know, we were dealing with this huge pandemic that, you know, I think nobody
Yeah.
could have guessed. And, you know, it almost seems like it just continues to kick
Yeah.
the can forward. And there's some people out there that
sure.
are high in the finance world that are still saying that, you know, they don't think that there's going to be
Yeah.
Yeah.
a housing
Well, to you, Graham, I would say that, right? No, I'd say, listen, whether there is a housing crash, market crash or not, no one can deny there is going to be a correction in the inventory.
Yeah.
No one can
Yeah, it
deny
has
that.
to, because I mean, look at the last 12 months. The foreclosure has gone down.
Yeah.
That just tells me that there's almost this like a water dam that's holding back all these delinquencies, right?
Yeah.
Whether that's a short sale, whether that's foreclosure, very rarely deed in lieu.
Yeah.
Just tells me that what we would have gotten as far as foreclosure inventory, we have not gotten. The problem with the reason why the home prices were escalating so high, it was not because there was a natural demand for it, but there wasn't enough inventory.
There wasn't. And you
you
also
know?
have to consider. Here's something that no one else is mentioning: is who wants to make a big financial decision at a time like this? Nobody.
No.
You know, especially when it's a pandemic, when it's, you know,
Right.
I mean, unless you're on the really, really good side of it, no one really wants to make any big decisions like that. You know,
Right.
it's just the truth. So I think inventory will balance out. I don't know to what degree,
Right.
right? I think it is going to be a little bit more serious than a lot of our fellow YouTubers are saying. A lot of fellow YouTubers are saying, well, the buyer pool right now is going to absorb, you know, a lot of these things. Well, you're only looking at it from one angle. Because on one angle, you say, yes, the low inventory is the reason for low housing prices. Yes, there is. And by the way, we've been saying it on this channel, all three of us.
Yeah.
There has been an affordable housing crisis before COVID.
Yeah.
That was already an issue.
Right.
You know, like that's already been talked about. So I think but the other side of it is also that your consumer confidence, your consumer spending power is going to drop significantly.
Yeah.
Right. I think a lot of stuff with unemployment. I think a lot of stuff with displacements. Because how hard is it to get, you know, how hard is it to get a loan or a mortgage when you have something like an eviction on your credit report, or you have something like a bankruptcy?
Yeah.
It's very difficult. So I think as banks tighten, which by the way they do in any liquidity crisis, because I think that's something that a lot of YouTubers are not talking about, the fact that the banks will continue to tighten and it will make it harder for people to buy homes,
Yeah.
and it will shrink that buyer pool. That buyer pool is not sticking around forever.
Yeah.
No.
It's not.
Right. I was talking to you the other day.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, how cheap the money is right now. I mean, it almost makes me want to just buy a property. And I don't really need it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I know there's others thinking like myself as well. You know, with the whole American dream, you talk about owning a home, and you know, you've never really seen cheap money like this. But
Right.
we got a question in here that I'm gonna ask.
Yes.
I'm asking Jonacito 0685 asked, what do you think quantitative easing will do to the asset class like housing?
I love the name, first of all. It reminds me of my MySpace days, you know. But what do you think quantitative easing will do to asset class like ours? So, by the way, for those of you guys that don't know what quantitative easing (QE) is, it's pretty much a global process in which you issue out. So it's basic monetary policy, where let's say that Sam needed money,
Yeah.
right? Which Sam never needs money, right? He's
No.
swimming in it. He's like Finding Nemo. So let's say he needs money, right? Let's say I have the power to print money, and I'm not the government, right? Such things do exist. All right. So what I'm going to do, because I just can't print money and give it to him, right? I can't do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to then sell him, right? He's gonna sell me an IOU.
Right.
He's going to give me a piece of paper, because there has to be a transaction. There has to be value exchange for value. So what he's going to do, he's going to give me an IOU, a piece of paper saying that, Daniel, I will pay you back. And then I'm going to give him the money.
Yeah.
Is what I'm going to do.
That's essentially what money started with. It was more so back in like about 1,000 years ago.
Yes.
It was basically an IOU, right? I mean, you would take your gold, deposit at some vault, and then the vault will give you an IOU. Basically, hey, this is a certificate
Right.
of, you know, how much gold you have.
Yeah.
And then you can just basically trade around the paper.
Well,
That's-
QE
yeah.
really started this domino effect where, you know, we realized how bad it was in hindsight for Nixon to take the currency off the gold standard.
Wow.
Because until then, before 2000, and I'm not pointing fingers at any president or anything like
No.
that, because at the end of the day, we're all smart enough, and you guys watching are smart enough, know that the president has this much power when it comes to world economics, right? Economics in general, right? It's all the globalists, right? The globalists, right? So they have this little power. So I'm not going to point any fingers at president, but really it wasn't until 2008 until we needed to start that recovery phase, until we started the whole concept of quantitative easing, where the currency really got out of control.
Yeah.
It really, and now we're seeing it go bonkers. You know what I mean? Like we're seeing it go everywhere. I mean, there is no control with this money.
Yeah.
So in terms to answer your question, Jonasito 0685, what do I think? It won't help it.
Yeah.
That's for dang sure. Because let's reverse engineer, right? What did quantitative easing do, right? It was meant to save the banking industry. It was meant to save the it was meant to save, right? $5.6 trillion were lost due to the the downfall of the mortgage bond industry.
Yes.
That's exactly what happened. And quantitative easing was created to stimulate the recovery from which it came. So, if you think about, if you reverse engineer, all right, I think quantitative easing at the end of the day could potentially stop a lot of defaults. It could allow banks to be a little bit more open with their lending. It could allow banks to be less tight with their lending criteria. That we may see rates stay this low for a very long time, more than the 2 years that which Jerome Powell said it was going to be at minimum. So I think that's what it's going to do. And when you have, bankings have when you have banks have a very loose lending criteria, you see what we saw in the year 2020, where you see record highs in prices, you see a large buyer pool, and you see a lot of things that could prohibit the consequences from coming as they should.
It almost seems like, oh wait, I wouldn't say necessarily repeating, but I've even in my own circle have experienced people that are buying homes just because the money's so cheap that probably shouldn't be buying homes. And so that's something to worry about for sure.
Yeah, what's going to be really interesting too? See the dynamic and the relationship of Bitcoin with real estate.
Yes. Well, that's actually what the I don't know if it was Thomas Namaro, but it was. It was the same person, Jonasito.
The Cardano and VeChain.
Yeah, I think it's just another coin that they're
Is it?
Something with that.
Let's talk about crypto for a little, because you got a little bit of crypto,
I
man.
like
You got a little bit of crypto in your vault.
I'm not as educated as I want to be on it, but
Yeah.
I do have a good buddy that's always kind of feeding me the updated news because I only have so much time. But crypto has treated me very well. I think the only thing that worries me, and we saw it with a coin called, I think it's called XRP, where they were sued by the SEC, and
I didn't know that.
totally they basically destroyed the value of the coin. I think one of the things that's worrying a lot of people is how involved government, politics get involved with.
Joe, you may have to get your microphone closer.
With crypto, I think hopefully they can hear me better.
Yeah.
With crypto, but other than that, it's treated me very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you double your money?
I did actually.
Yeah.
I did double my
Guys,
money.
Joel went from 280,000 to now you got 568,000.
Not that much.
Yeah, not yet.
Not much.
Not yet for sure. But I mean, I think that's the interesting dynamic that crypto is going to add into the housing market. I've been getting questions left and right. Daniel, do you think one day we'll be able to buy houses with cryptocurrency?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think crypto is at where it's at right now to where we can do that. I mean, me as a seller, I wouldn't take crypto just because it's such a fluctuating thing right now.
Oh, someone thinks you're Graham.
Really?
Yeah.
Graham
home.
Stephan?
Yeah, home prima. So
Maybe.
hey guys, Graham. Yeah.
Let me know. Can you guys hear me a little bit better now? I know Tanya is letting me know that she can't hear me. So let me know if you can hear me a little bit better now.
Yeah, I can barely hear Joel. So let me see if I can.
I think I'm too loud, so I'm gonna put my mic a little farther away.
All right, give Joel a nice little boost.
All right.
Somebody's asking, is he even plugged in?
All right, there you go. They can hear me a little bit
Hey,
better
there we
now.
go. Good stuff.
All right, I appreciate it. No, it's okay, home prima. I appreciate that though. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I was watching. I've been watching a lot of videos on crypto. I think that's the part right now. There was a couple of restaurants, and I think it was in California, that were accepting
Bitcoin.
crypto as a payment, but the fee of the transaction costs more than the meal itself. But I think if we can figure something out with that, it's going to be a game changer. But I think with crypto bouncing back the way that they did when they first had their crash, I do believe it's here to stay. I know.
No, I agree with you.
And as soon as Robert Kiyosaki started, and he wasn't a huge fan of it either, I think that's when I realized, okay, like this is starting to get serious. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think, Sam? How do you think the crypto will affect the debt acceleration strategy?
Well, I mean, let me backtrack real quick. So when anything becomes valuable, it has to be de-risked, right? It can't just go away like that, right?
Yes.
When something or some asset or commodity you invest in, if it's malleable to disappearing overnight, then it has virtually no worth because it has to have some kind of future value that you can use that money or commodity to buy something, right? It has to mean something. Value is only perceived. It just doesn't have inherent value. So as far as if we're applying this to paying off your debt, if we're applying this to that concept, it just might be another way for people to pay off their debt sooner, investing in crypto. Or that might be a far-fetched saying because you can kind of do the same thing with investing in anything now. But I think the best way is once you're done paying off your mortgage, you start working on building up your cryptocurrency profile, right? That or I don't know. I mean, the future is the sky, right? I mean, the sky's the limit at this point as far as what it could be possible. So, yeah, the cryptocurrency right now, a lot of people don't realize that cryptocurrency itself is not the technology; it's blockchain, right? So I'm more so interested on what blockchain will do for banking, right? What could blockchain do? Like, could you get a line of credit backed by blockchain? Could you get a line of credit backed by crypto? Could you get, I don't know, there's infinite possibilities as far as what could be possible, and we don't know what that is. So I don't think it's going to be necessarily cryptocurrency. I think it's going to be more so the blockchain technology that may have more impact in real estate than the currency itself.
Yeah, and by the way, for those people saying that crypto is going to crash, or Bitcoin's going to crash, it's already crashed 5 times in its history. Like, it went from, like, I don't know, I don't have the specific numbers. I do have it in my phone somewhere, but it's crashed multiple times, right? I think the future of crypto is I don't know if it can actually be a currency, an actual currency that the world uses, because the beautiful thing about different dollars and currency hedges right now is that you don't have one economy that can run away with inflation or devaluation of their currency. Not the way that global economy works right now, right? The issue that I do have with crypto is, yes, it's safe, but it's so hard to do transactions, especially banking transactions, when the values are constantly going up and down drastically, right? If you talk about the strength of the dollar, it doesn't fluctuate. If you look at a 30-year historical chart, it doesn't fluctuate that much.
Yes.
So it's more consistent. But for me, I can't ever see myself using crypto to put a down payment on a property.
Well, we got Jonasito saying, yes, you can. Celsius Network allows you to get loans backed by your crypto assets, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I imagine that these things are going to pop up. I mean, when there's an opportunity to be made, there's going to be startups that are going to obviously take advantage of this. My only question is, how big is the risk premium? Meaning, how does that translate to how big of interest rate you can pay?
Coinbase, which is the biggest, I think, trading platform for Bitcoin and crypto, they're doing loans as well now.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the right thing.
Do you happen to know what the interest rate is?
I can check for you right now.
There you go.
I can pull it up. Let's get a loan right now.
We'll have to find out because when your asset is so volatile, right? Because if you're securing something to get a loan, like let's say I get a $100,000 loan, and let's say I have $150,000 in my cryptocurrency, the amount of cryptocurrency I have. And what's the loan to value ratio, right? Because if something that's that volatile, it could crash overnight. It's so malleable. Is it 150% loan to value? Is it 50% loan to value?
Yeah.
And if so, what's the interest rate? Am I paying like 10% interest rate?
What Coinbase is doing right now, they're doing 30% of the value of your Bitcoin.
Okay.
And they're doing it at an 8% APR.
That just tells me that even the banks think that it's still risky right now, right? Because like real estate, you can get 90% loan to value, meaning if your home's worth $90,000, you can go get $100,000, you can get a $90,000 loan at like 3% right now, right? So 3% is pretty darn low. 90% being, hey, we think the value is going to hold.
Yeah. And I know there's probably other networks and different companies that offer, like Jonasito said, a better probably interest rate and things like that. But how easy are they making it not only for the consumer but even the business that is now accepting these types of payments? I mean, how many business owners do you know right now that are going to be okay with accepting crypto payments that don't really even understand?
Well, and also my next question is, if these loans are being originated, are they being securitized?
Probably not. You can't. It's impossible, and that's why I say it won't be a transactional currency until it enters the private banking industry.
Right.
It won't.
It has to.
But right now, here's what I think. Here's what I think the future of crypto is going to be. I think right now it's the hot chick in the room, right? It's amazing. Everything's bought into it, which is why the value, right? I mean, people got to realize basic economics. The value of something only goes up when people want it to go up.
Right.
There has to be a demand in order for that supply to be known as a commodity, which, by the way, I think that is the future of Bitcoin. I think it's actually going to eventually get up there with gold in terms of commodities. I think if you look at the way part of the reason why I think Bitcoin is doing so well is because the dollar is so weak. That's honestly, but watch what happens, right? It's historically true. Whenever the dollar gets stronger, commodities tend to get weaker. Because why is that? Well, when the dollar gets weak, typically the economy is weak. Hello, we had a pandemic this year, right? The economy was certainly weakened. People don't trust the dollar anymore. People don't trust other investment assets. Therefore, they want to put it in something tangible, i.e. gold, i.e. real estate, which is why I love real estate so much, because it is not only considered a commodity, you can't build more land, right? But it's also income producing. There's tax benefits. There's so many benefits to real estate that so many financial planners don't know about.
It de-risks the asset. I mean, real estate has been around forever, right? One could argue it's been before human existence, right? So I think crypto has a long way of being de-risked. I think it's got a long way of it's just figuring itself out right now, because I think there's too much noise, there's too much smoke.
And we're not saying it's not backable. It is backable,
I
right?
think so.
The infrastructure itself
so.
is backing the actual value of the asset, right? Because if you think about what people think when you're backing something is, well, what is the security? What is the fallback, right, on it? Well, the fallback is that it's the infrastructure, because the dollar may crash. It's happened before, right? But Bitcoin, whatever, it can only crash in value, not in its stability, not in its security. That I will agree with people. The people who love Bitcoin, the people who tattoo a giant B on their chest, I mean, it's like I get it. I
think it starts worrying me once you start seeing a lot of these bigger Forbes articles, start hyping it up a lot. For me, whenever something like that happens and you see a lot of the big media companies start covering it, they're on purpose getting people to buy more. That's one of the worries, for me.
When you have almost like an inside trading type of deal.
I mean, because when you think about it, a lot of people with the money, they control this, and so they control what is being portrayed, with Forbes and stuff like that. But I think it's here to stay. I'm excited. I'm excited with the new technology that will end up being created with this, and jobs even created within the crypto world. So I think it's good.
Yeah, I root for crypto, man. I do. Yeah, I root for crypto.
Jonasito is being very active. We appreciate that. He asked another question. Says, "What do you think about about digital land? I see people flipping digital land just like houses. I see that too. So I'm big on TikTok, guys. If you guys want to follow me on TikTok,
go follow Joel on TikTok, guys.
Joel M. Montiel. But I see a lot of TikTokers that are doing that. They're selling the land, with the quick 15-second TikTok videos. And I'm curious. What do you think about that?
Digital land. So I mean, let's define what that is. What is digital land? So, I don't know anything about this. So
Jonas, I don't know if you mean like land that's like quote unquote backed by some sort of cryptocurrency, or if you mean like that there's people buying land just online and are selling it online as well without actually going to the land or anything like that. But
what's digital land?
I'm curious about that, because I mean, if we're gonna immediately my head went into like virtual reality. You create this almost like separate land inside games. It's making people millions. Wow. So it is what I think it is.
Digital land.
It's literally land inside of a virtual reality.
Oh, yeah.
Basically basically pieces of ones and zeros inside of a server.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know about what you
virtual cities.
I don't know what other people are doing.
So is it like Roblox? You're buying land.
Is it Minecraft?
Well, hold on. So I'm curious, because if you buy land, let's say if you buy digital land, let's say, right? What do you get out of it? Well, that's the question. Like, is it rentable? Is it I mean, you can own anything these days. You can freaking own the star now. Apparently, you can buy a star, right?
Yeah.
Or apparently
That's
now
crazy.
Yeah, you could buy the title of lordship. Like I seen that crap on Instagram a lot. But what do you do? Like, I mean, like what? I guess.
Hey, listen, man. People can buy their virtual land all they want,
right?
As they type in their keyboards and with their Cheeto fingers, but Man, I like real land.
Yes.
I like the real thing.
Yeah, because literally, wherever the server is, if it's Amazon or Microsoft, you just pull the plug and
so apparently you would allow people to come and play in your land and charge them, and I guess you run businesses and. That's
I shouldn't laugh because I'm sure there are people making millions of dollars, and I'm sure it's a very serious thing. It's great. I just like real land.
Yeah.
I like physical land.
That's interesting. I mean, I feel like stuff like that. We're like 20 years behind. Like,
I mean, is it though? Like, I mean, think about it. If we're all locked in, we can't go out, and all we can do is virtual. In virtual land, I mean, that's the only place we can go to have fun. Think about it. I mean, I don't know, Genesito, if it's like this, but what if like you start seeing a lot of different artists, and then you go to different concerts in this virtual land, and you pay for it,
for sure.
Well, and you also, I mean,
Coachella is virtualized.
Well, the big challenge with that is you have to everyone's got to have the same piece of hardware to get the same exact experience. Like you have to have the same exact virtual reality glasses,
which I'm sure in 10 years we will, right?
Yeah. Again, I don't know, dude. I think it's possible, right? But we're that seems so far fetched.
I just think about the guy tripping on acid on VR. Like you're
you go into VR drugged, and in the VR you get drugged again. So your character in VR is like drugged.
You're drugged 3 times.
Yeah, you're drug section.
I'm just worried about how like bad the Vegas virtual land would be, and that's kind of what it goes to. But somebody else is asking, kind of switch back to the topic of this.
Yes.
He says until each nation can get on the same page and do away separate sets of rules, it won't thrive. The global regulations are greatly
fractured with crypto. Yeah, he said with crypto.
Yeah.
I agree, 100%. The United States treats cryptocurrency very different than what China treats it.
Korea, I remember like banned it. It's like as soon as it happened, like gone.
Yeah,
like China banned it. Korea banned it.
Yeah.
Of course, there's like black market and stuff like that, but United States have been pretty open about cryptocurrency.
We're a free market economy.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we are.
Yeah. M. Sway says every state isn't shut down like Cali or New York. Get out and travel, you'll see. Okay, I think he's responding to the comment saying about how the states are still closed.
Yeah,
I think you're right, but I think with a lot of stuff that's going out right now, it's not the same. Not everyone is out.
Sure.
There's still obviously a lot of worries. Obviously you have talks with the vaccines coming out, and so. Anytime you have a switch of a market, and there's demand and stuff, and people are inside, I mean, it is what it is. People are on their computers.
Yeah.
On their phones.
Let's do a little switcheroo.
Real quick, before you do your switcheroo, comment down below, guys. Don't forget to like this live stream.
Yeah, share this live stream, guys.
Share the live stream. And if you want some things that you want us to talk about, that's what you, as the current viewer, get the benefit of, right? You're here live with us, so you get to, comment down below what you want us to talk about. If you want to include some of your 2021 goals, you can do that as well. But Sam, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so let's do a little switcheroo, and this might be controversial. We may get shadow banned. We may get banned here. So let's talk about the vaccines. I read somewhere that almost 5% of people, and I'm not stating a fact here. I'm just stating out what I observed. So YouTube overlords, please don't ban me. But I saw somewhere that, and it was a CDC report, and I can probably comment it down below. It's floating around somewhere, but they were saying it was like 5% of people were getting like major side effects where they can't work. Like they just can't. Yeah, they like. It's not as bad as dying. Right? Like dying is like the ultimate thing, but 5% of people who get the vaccines now are experiencing some level of side effect where they can't go to work. They're pretty much, they have the COVID essentially, but like in a very strong form. And then apparently 1 dose isn't enough. You have to come back to a second dose for 90% effectiveness.
Okay.
So the first dose only gives you like 40% effectiveness, and 2 weeks later you have to come back and get another dose.
Couple thoughts. One of the things that's interesting that I noticed about the vaccines, like keep in mind, if you want to say the Trump administration is taking credit for how fast it's been coming out.
Yeah.
But what you're seeing is this is like one of the rare things that I feel like isn't being so political. There's both sides that you're seeing worried on the Democrats and the Republicans, whoever you decided to vote for, about not taking the vaccine. I mean, for a long, we haven't seen a vaccine come out that fast.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're seeing even a lot of people, like I said, on the Republican side, even though the Trump administration is taking credit, of it, that don't feel, that it's necessary to take these, vaccines. So, Genesito saying their faces are twisting. I did see a video actually of a nurse that, she had,
really
some effects on her face. Yeah.
So like it started drooping, or
so I forgot what it's called, but part of her face wasn't as reactive as the other one. So,
Oh my
Oh,
God.
it's like almost like having a
scary
stroke.
stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, just like that.
Man,
Oh, man, that's
I,
not good.
I wouldn't gamble my life with that. I just my opinion. I would not mess with my face.
Yeah.
Just which by the way, a couple of days ago I took the COVID test, came back negative. So
Yeah.
I had it.
And let me
Yeah.
ask you guys, as the owners of the Kwak Brothers, will you be requiring us
No.
to take the vaccine?
You guys do whatever you want. It takes, you know what I mean? Just eat a Jolly Rancher, do what you got to do. Eat an apple a day, right? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to, it's your guys' right as Americans to do what you want. Your body, your choice, Joel.
Yeah.
Your body, your choice.
That's true.
How about that?
So SDHODL, she said Florida is largely open, and that's something that's interesting too.
Yes.
As we're seeing, you mentioned earlier in the videos that you're seeing a lot of these businesses, move to
Yes.
Texas.
And
You're
Florida.
talking Elon Musk. I was just reading. He sold, I think, his last 3 homes
Yeah.
in Los Angeles for a total of $40 million.
$40 million.
He's going down to Texas. You're talking about, I think, what was it, from New York, was it NASDAQ or someone was thinking about moving down to Texas as well? And
No, I think they moved. I think I read somewhere they moved the headquarters of NASDAQ to Texas.
Oh,
Or
geez,
they're
man.
moving. It's either that or it's something. But it's something huge. Gosh, I apologize. I saw the article like a month ago. But it's a big. I mean, it's up there with NASDAQ, and they're moving their headquarters to Texas.
yes,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Well, even when we're doing our deals, I mean, you have companies like Boeing, Lockheed Martin,
Yes.
Northrop Grumman. They're all moving to Florida.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's just man, I don't know.
yeah,
yeah.
big question marks.
Yeah, and Edwin, you make a great point. He says private companies have enough to deal with, no need for them to demand vaccines from their workers. Easier for them to just work. From
My
home.
boy Edwin
You're exactly right.
showing out, man.
You're exactly
Yeah.
right.
That's good. That's really good.
So apparently going to Florida. But yeah, I mean, Florida and Texas right now are the states that are hot.
Yeah.
I think what people are worried about, is are they going to bring the same, policies, politically there? And I think that's something that they probably should be worrying about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Texas and Florida here.
Yeah. So, guys, next week we're gonna have some more videos about the housing market. Which, by the way, that's on your agenda, Daniel. So next week we're gonna be doing a video on the top housing market to invest in for 2021. So if you guys,
I
wanna
got 'em
see
right
that-
now.
Well, we don't want to spoil it. We don't want to give it away right away. We want them to stick around and subscribe and make sure you guys.
Guys, I'm
watch.
not gonna make you do ludicrous things like Sam does, like putting up hoops, right? Like you gotta grab these hoops, right?
At least those hoops are
But
attainable.
we are gonna make a video on it.
Yeah.
So we are working on it. I am doing the research on it right now. I'm calling people left and right. I'm looking up articles, cross-verifying. I'm taking account my own experience in terms of where I'm also investing, and we're gonna put out a video. We will release a video, a vaccine, in record time. It's like but we will do it, right? And we're gonna put that video out very soon. I'm gonna record it sometime this week, and it's gonna be the top 5 real estate markets for 2021.
Ooh, and Edwin just brought up a really excellent point. So we have another episode of the Closing Table coming out next Wednesday. So next Wednesday being, I think, the 6th, January 6th. Yeah, January 6th we'll have the second episode, and we're really dialing this show concept. We're realizing that we need more tension in our shows, right? So we are going to be creating more tension. Okay, we'll give you guys some tension. It'll be very interesting. So the Closing Table episode 2 will come out, and the following Wednesday we'll have episode 3, and we're right now working on recording episode 4 and 5. So they are coming very, very soon. Now, in case you guys are wondering, what is the Closing Table? Well, it's a brand new show that we're launching for any individuals that are interested in investing in real estate to come bring their deals to this very table, aka the Closing Table. And Daniel and I and maybe a guest judge will come and analyze your deal to see whether your deal is profitable or not profitable. And if it's not profitable, then we'll tell you. We'll be honest. We'll let you know. Sometimes Daniel and I may disagree. Sometimes we may disagree with the guest judge. We may disagree with the contestant, or the contestant may disagree with us, and they might start calling his name. I don't know. Things happen in shows. So so go ahead and stay tuned. It's gonna be very interesting. I think you guys will all enjoy it if you love the whole process of investing in real estate, making money, and so forth.
Yeah,
So
I've watched some of the previews, and it is very funny. There's some interesting people, to say the least. But
Yeah.
I see a lot of different comments right now in the
different
comments
markets.
On different markets.
Yeah.
One of the questions that I want to ask you, Danny, that I
Yeah.
was curious on. I mean, you're seeing, I think, a shift to, in big corporations from cities that are going to stay at home.
Yeah.
One of the arguments against, well, Danny, we may not see that market crash is you are seeing a lot of high demand right now in the suburbia
Yeah.
of America.
Yeah.
And not only that, one of the things that I noticed too is even with the pandemic happening, it stopped a lot of new construction, and
did.
new construction was
Yeah.
in high demand. And so I think that's one of the other reasons why we're trading a high value of properties as well. But what are your thoughts on more of the suburban markets?
Yeah, I mean, we saw multifamily housing development drop to the 200s. We haven't seen that in, I think, 8 years,
Yes.
9 years. It's been a long time. And if you consider the fact where we are as a housing market, we're seeing, a drop in multifamily housing development, but we're expecting to see a huge increase this upcoming year. Because let's be real, whenever you have a pandemic happening, a lot of development just stops.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a friend down in Florida who's planning on building, a 500-seat, auditorium. He was wanting to build a condo hotel and whatnot. And, literally he was about to break ground in March, and then, this pandemic happened, and he just had to completely slow everything down. So I do think that a lot of people right now, the secondary markets are hot right now. A lot of people are moving to suburbia because they want the bigger home. But I think in many ways office spaces will come back. That's just my opinion. I think especially office space where people come into the office. Yes, I don't think we're gonna see as many people return. I think we are gonna see a lot of companies downsize. The CEO of Morgan Stanley came out literally earlier this year and says, why am I paying tens of thousands of dollars in leases when my company is running efficiently? As a matter of fact, more efficiently by having our employees work from home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you will have a lot of companies who will, have a headquarters,
Yeah.
right, or for corporate and high execs to meet. But I think you will see a lot of people do work from home. But I think in many ways, shape, or form, offices will come back.
Yeah.
Not as strong as we have seen it. I, for one, will not be investing in office space just because we have, the famous Ray Dalio says you never want to catch a falling knife.
Yeah.
You never want to do that in any investment vehicle. But I think, the housing prices it won't crash, but I think with combination of inventory, displacements, I think they will stabilize a little bit, but I think it's going to be a lot lower than what a lot of these it was the opposite of doom and gloomers. The optimists of our fellow YouTubers.
Yeah, the optimists.
I don't think it's going to be as great as our fellow optimist YouTubers are going to be. In the case of what I'm seeing in the comment section as well, with a lot of different markets. I saw Kansas City, I saw Wichita. Those are all phenomenal cities. But my encouragement to you guys right now is my safe bet. Because if you think about when you're looking at, investing, I like we know how I love. And I know you and I will be able to enjoy this topic, maybe not as Sam.
Yeah.
But you know who I try to emulate my investing style as? The great Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, no.
Now, why is that? Because Floyd Mayweather was a very good defensive fighter.
Yeah.
He was a phenomenal defensive fighter. He wasn't spectacular.
Yeah, he wasn't excited to watch, but
He wasn't exciting to
he
watch.
won the fights, yeah.
Right, but he would win the fights. And in many ways, I encourage a lot of investors to play in that style.
Yeah.
Because think about what's happening right now in the real estate investing world is everybody's asking questions like, oh, Daniel, what about the cash flow? Like even
Yeah.
questions that we get here
Yeah.
on Fridays,
The flashy stuff.
the flashy stuff, right? They're like, hey, how do I knock people out? How do I taunt my opponent and knock them out? How do I, get the most income? How do I get, but ever rarely do I see real estate investors ask questions about how do I protect my risk?
Yeah.
How do I protect my asset? How do I do liability protection? How do I make sure so my encouragement to you guys, if you want to be safe and still have a good return, right? Because I'm all about returns, I'm all about income, right? Our investors, we strive to give them double-digit returns. But what I encourage you to do, look at secondary markets of these cities like Wichita, like Kansas City, big cities that are growing. Orlando, Columbus, Ohio is up there. Charlotte, North Carolina is a top contender up there.
Yeah.
Kylene, Texas is a big contender. Look at the secondary markets of these cities, and you will see the growth significantly more, and you're going to see a lot more upside along with protecting your downside risk. Because a lot of the growth trickles down to those secondary markets.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of those markets flourish in the next 5-10 years.
Yeah, I would agree. I think office, I think even then, I have heard reports where there's certain areas in a company that, do better at home.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you here, we've kind of even have little rules where we do, want people to come in at least, a few days a week.
We don't want this office sitting empty and just
at the least.
Yeah.
But talking about the optimist, someone actually mentioned a good thing that I think this is something that people should be worrying about, because I see it, is the malls and some of the big, even colleges and big commercial properties that you see as well. I mean, I got a mall by me that is just dead. It's sad.
What mall is it?
It's called Spring Hill Mall. It's over.
Oh, yeah.
It's closer to the suburbs, but dead. I mean,
Yeah,
you
no
know,
one's there.
Even movie theaters. I mean, I think movie theaters right now are renting out like a whole theater for $100, which is a good deal. I mean, that's cheap.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But
That's amazing.
Yeah, what do you think with the malls? I mean, there's some creative things that I've been seeing. Someone mentioned big data centers, turning them into big data centers, things like that. But what do you think about the big malls and bigger commercial properties?
Well, if you look at the stock of a lot of REITs and a lot of real estate based companies, they've gone down. I mean, I think the Simon Center, which by the way, they're like the biggest owner of malls.
Yeah.
They own the
They're
Crystal
everywhere.
Shops in Vegas. They own, with the old, Premium Outlets by us, right? Their stock, I think, went down like something 30-something%, like 39-something%. Might actually even be as big as 50-something%. But I don't know. I think the future in malls, what I'm seeing though in a lot of these smarter malls that are attracting a lot of people, is they're turning them into more experience based.
Yeah, like a live venue.
Thank you.
Concert
Right,
hall.
exactly.
Yeah.
You-
You have to.
yeah,
You have to.
Yeah.
Like what do you do with big old chunk of space?
Yeah.
Like you're not really going to do anything. So I think part of the strategy that a lot of malls are doing right now is they're either turning them to like big theaters. They get theaters, and like theaters are the new anchors now. But even with theaters, like you guys seen the new Wonder Woman movie?
I've heard it's terrible.
I mean, I had mixed reviews. There's some like political things in there. I'm like, all right, you know how things
Yeah.
are. But like HBO Max, right? They got it out on HBO Max. You didn't have to go to the theaters. You just watched it on HBO Max, right?
And I thought that was coming even prior. I mean, you
Yeah.
talk about people not wanting to get up even just to that. I mean, you're going to see some of these
Yeah.
bigger, companies that are going to be able to just stream the movies. I think that's where the movie industry is probably
Right.
going towards. To be honest, I was talking with actually even one of our clients where, I think he worked for Netflix or something, and they were saying they weren't even doing their filming in the United States anymore. They were doing their filming somewhere else.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be definitely interesting to see for sure.
But I'd say in terms of malls, don't give up on the malls. Don't give up on the malls just yet.
I think they're just going to be repurposed. Whether
They're
they
gonna be
turn to
repurposed,
like an
yeah.
indoor amusement park.
I think you're going to see a lot
know.
of like arcades. You're going to see
Yeah.
indoor amusement parks. You're going to see bowling alleys in malls. I think the big future for malls too is food. I think a lot of you're going to see a lot of retail spaces.
Sports centers, I think, is another.
Sports centers too.
There was a very interesting, I don't know if it was an amusement park, but Pat David over at Valuetainment, he was talking about it. It was a huge mall that they turned like each storefront, they turned into some sort of future career for kids. So like, there was like a
There
little
you go.
dentist area where they
Nice.
would like show some dentistry
Yeah.
work to the kids. There was like a police, there was
that's pretty
content
cool.
creators, podcast little room. So
Right.
I
Stuff for
think,
Congress, too.
Yeah,
Just argue all day.
Yeah, they don't do anything.
I don't know
do
about
nothing.
that, but I think the companies that are, the malls that adapt the fastest will see a good return. I definitely could agree with that.
Yeah, I think so. And I think they have a good opportunity. There's a mall in Oak Brook, Illinois. They turned it into a gym.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean? Like they literally turned it into like a 2-story giant fitness center.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't give up on malls just yet. Retail, I'm still a little hesitant on retail. Which, by the way, talk about these restaurants in Illinois. They're standing up.
Yeah.
They're opening.
Yeah.
They're allowing indoor dining.
Yeah.
How about that? I say good for them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I say good for them, man.
Yeah.
I think at the beginning, I think we were all on the same page. I mean, especially when I remember like the moment. I think the moment in this pandemic for me was when I saw Mark Cuban freaking out in the sidelines that the NBA stopped. I think everyone first took their precautions.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think you started seeing a lot of the crazy stuff happening. And I mean, you're seeing Walmart that's open. I went to Walmart a few days ago and it was packed. And you can't have small businesses right now. I think it's like the 08 for restaurant owners.
Yeah,
It's sad to see.
Right. More and more people are realizing that yes, the virus is real. I'm not saying the virus is fake or anything, but I think more and more people are realizing that this thing has gone so politicized.
Yes.
Like people are starting to see the BS, but also people are realizing, okay, this is not as like fearful as most people think.
Yeah.
It's been so politicized, it's been
Yourselves.
weaponized, and that's what drives me nuts. Sure, I'll wear a mask, I'll take precaution, but like when someone uses COVID to shame you or make you do things or manipulate you, that's what I have a problem with, and that's what I'm sick and tired
Well,
of.
here's my point on that too. It's just like, look, myself, we're none of us are medical experts, but we will gladly defer to the experts.
Right.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I have the same hope, right? When somebody has a question about, getting a mortgage, right,
Yeah.
or the HELOC strategy, or infinite banking or real estate, I hope they will come to us and listen to what we have to say and take our advice and take heed. we have a lot of doctors that we work with, you know,
Yeah.
because not only do we help them pay off their mortgage, because let's be real, doctors like nice houses.
They do.
You know, because they make
They
a lot of
like
money.
paid off houses too.
They like paid off houses too, absolutely. But they also love real estate because, in the medical industry, which I don't know why, I don't know who came up with the idea to tax our medical professionals more than the average person. But these doctors, man, they're getting taxed at a 40% rate. I mean, it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? So, I mean, in my opinion, I think doctors should actually be getting tax cuts. Because these are the people.
Joe's like AOC would think about that.
Yeah, I don't know, right? But here's the thing. I mean, a lot of the doctors that we refer to that invest with our company, a lot of them are saying, literally, a vast majority, the minimum 20 years experience that I'm taking these advice from, they're saying the masks and social distancing is fine. We accept that. That does help a little bit. The lockdowns, I don't know who came up with that idea.
Right.
Shutting down businesses, I don't know who came up with that idea. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? And that should not be happening. And who I really feel bad for is you have a lot of people online who know nothing about business. Nothing. People on Facebook, social media, fools, man.
Yeah.
Fools is what I call them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That know nothing about running a business.
Yeah, so
Complain.
Kevin Schmidt said the virus has killed 300,000 Americans. No,
Perfect. Well, let me finish
Yeah,
my point.
yeah.
That know nothing about running a business, that are complaining about the wealth gap. Well, why do you think that is? To your point, yes, they're all going to Walmart, they're all going to Target, they're all buying things on Amazon. Guess who they're not buying from? The small businesses.
Yeah.
The small business, and that's why the wealth gap is decreasing, or increasing, so we say. All right, Sam. Sorry, what was the point you were addressing, Kevin?
Yeah, so this is something that drives me nuts, and so Kevin says the virus had killed 300,000 Americans. So I'm not denying, and I'm not saying, oh, that's just only 300,000. That's not what I'm saying, right? I'm saying, at the end of the day, that's terrible. Like, no one should die. No one should have.
All right, some people should
right? Right? No one should die. Right? Maybe Hitler, right? But we got to ask that. We got to ask this question, right? Out of 300,000 people, 300,000 people who died, how many of them already had conditions that were terminal?
Yeah.
Right? And also, with the fact that the hospitals were, and this is a fact, right? People can fact check me all day long, and I've read this to be true, that hospitals are getting paid more to report COVID fatalities.
Yeah, 100%.
Here's what I have a problem with, and
Yeah.
I know Kevin doesn't seem too happy in the comment section right now.
Yeah.
I just looked up right now, right? And I have a problem with the hypocrisy. Okay, here's an interesting number. About 655,000 Americans die from heart disease each year.
Yeah.
Right. What causes heart disease? Right. Bad health, things like that. You don't see that. You don't see us closing down McDonald's.
Right.
You don't see us closing down fast foods. Right. They were like the first corporations that received help of any
Yes.
sort. And so I agree with you. Like, nobody should have been dying in the first place. But if you want to talk about taking care of people's health, then let's do it. Let's close down McDonald's. Let's close down the
Right.
things that are actually killing a lot of Americans.
Yeah,
right?
I won't even go to other deaths like
So-
abortion, but continue, please.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think it's sad. I mean, I have small business owners or friends that are small business owners, and I mean, this is ridiculous. We shouldn't have locked. I don't even think we should have locked down to begin with. To be honest, I don't think.
Yeah, and again, guys, I want to re-emphasize that is not, for me personally, especially for me, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm
Yeah.
sure you would agree. I'm sure we're on the same page about this.
Yeah.
But this is not our opinion. This is literally what I'm hearing from doctors
Right.
who have been in the industry for 20, 30. I mean, I'm going to be very frank. I've asked probably over 50 people, well, hey, you're a medical professional. What do you think about all this corona stuff? What do you think
Yeah.
about COVID, pandemic, et cetera? The pattern that I've noticed is that every single nurse, because none of them are old enough to be doctors, that are in their 20s,
Yeah.
who have never seen a pandemic before, are saying that this is Armageddon. Like,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah,
guys, we're done.
Right.
Humanity is lost, right? But a lot of the doctors who have seen a pandemic before, they've been through H1N1, they've been through the swine flu, they've been through the Ebola virus. A lot of them are saying, guys, yes, we should wear masks. Yes, we should socially distance. Yes, we should take precautions.
Yeah.
But again, guys, this is the expert's opinion. These are people who are working in these hospitals, running these hospitals, who've
Right.
been in the industry for 30, 40 years. They're an expert. I defer to them. They're saying we've had no reason to have a lockdown, no reason to shut down businesses.
Yeah, and we're not saying like not to be careful, right?
Yeah.
You should still exercise your responsibility, right? You should be careful, not to, you can't just go around coughing at people, right?
Yeah.
That's not what we were trying to say, but we gotta take the BS out of the
Yeah.
truth, right? There's there's this inherent truth that we need to protect. But that's the sad thing is a lot of people are like, oh, like why are your family meeting? You know, there's COVID, right? Like shame on you guys, right? It's so weaponized to the point where you know, I'm seeing families being torn apart. I'm seeing friends no longer being friends. It's just ridiculous, right? And the fact that with the COVID shaming, with COVID, there's been more mental health than ever before. The suicide rate, right? And I'm not a medical professional to say this, but from what I've researched, and I do a lot of kind of a lifestyle medical research, meaning like how do I improve my health kind of a deal. But like this COVID, I would imagine, and I don't have any statistics to back this up, but I would imagine that people are way more stressed out, which means cortisol levels are up. If you know anything about cortisol, if there's any long-term cortisol spike, or there's this constant drip of cortisol running through your body, their studies show that that could lead to diabetes. It could lead to weakened immune system. That has a long-term, detriment to your health, your physical health, not just your mental. But in being in stress all the time, you're forced to make really bad decisions too. I mean, like think about the last time you guys were stressed, right? Would you guys make good decisions being stressed out? Probably not, right? Like when you're emotionally charged, when you have stress going through your body, you're not going to make the best or effective decisions. You're going to make decisions based on how to survive, because that's what cortisol is designed to do. But again, I'm not a medical professional, but I do understand, the basic biochemistry to know that this stuff, like even if you don't have COVID, if you're stressed out all the time, it's gonna hurt you, right?
And I get it. Like a lot of these people, they're coming from a good place.
No, absolutely.
They want to take care of other people. I totally get it, but it's like, how far are you willing to go? Start with the mask. Okay, now we got talking about the vaccines and what's next. And I just want to give a quick shout out to my guy over at Barstool Sports, Dave Portnoy. He's done a really good job with his Barstool Fund with helping small businesses. I know Gary Vee got involved in well. So yeah, you guys go out and support your small businesses. They've never needed you any other time more than now. And so go out and shop small. I mean, Walmart's still open, right? I know there's some things that you can't get at small business, but
buy our products.
Go out and spend money with the small businesses. They need it right now.
Well, let me wrap up the show by saying that at the end of the day, guys, it's on you. Right? Like if you don't want to be affected by the virus, go work out. Start eating healthy. You know what I mean? Eat a salad. Like, oh my goodness. Like the amount of I think we've had a health crisis before. Yeah. If anything, if there's anything that I hope that our country learns from this pandemic, is just
get healthier, man.
Is to get healthier.
Gosh,
the lifestyle changes. Like I literally saw a meme with this chick who was riding a scooter, and she's like 400 pounds, and she's like pointing at the guy who's like healthy, he's got abs, and he's not wearing a mask, and she's wearing a mask, and she's like, "You're a danger to my health. Start putting on a mask." Yeah. Like that, the irony in that meme. So if anything like that we learn from this, guys, from the year of 2020 with the pandemic, I really hope is let's take care of ourselves.
Take care of everybody.
Go work out, go eat healthy. You know what I mean? Like if everyone did that, I guarantee you we wouldn't have the healthcare.
This is probably a whole different show, but like we could go for another hour talking about this. But
exactly,
like if you're complaining about health insurance costs going up, or like there's inadequate health remedy or health treatment in this country, it's not this country's health treatment. Trust me. Like we have really good hospital systems. Mm-hmm. Sure, South Korea may compete with us, certain parts of India may compete with us, but if Americans started exercising good health and good diet, no more, and I'm not gonna say names because we don't want to get sued for defamation. But if you avoid fast food, if you avoid a lot of
I already did that.
Carbs, right?
Maybe too late.
Yeah, right. But it's not coming from me, right? That's the most important part. Yeah. But seriously, like if we all exercise good health remedies, eat well, skip this, poor junk food. It's not even good for your mental health anyways. Yeah. But if the general health is healthy, like if the general population is healthy, the insurance cost goes down, treatment goes down, because there's less demand. Yeah. There's less demand. By nature of less demand, the cost goes down.
But there's less money going to big pharma if you're healthy.
That is true, because and there's the agenda, and I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but big companies, they have to figure out how to create demand artificially. Yeah. So I imagine they partner with fast food companies to feed into supply.
All right, well, let's wrap up the show, guys. Happy New Year again. You know,
Yeah,
all
what
in
a-
all,
what
say
an
Happy
interesting
New
show.
Year. It's good. We like talking about things. Don't forget to like this live stream, guys, and also
Yeah.
subscribe to our channel. We will be posting out great videos in the future, especially the 2021 housing market. I'm sure you've got a lot of great things to post as well. So thank you guys so much. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up the show. Any final words from you two gents?
No, it's a new year. Hopefully we see a lot of new things. We're going to see a lot of adapting. I think that's what's going to be the year of 2021 is whoever adapts the best,
Yeah.
I think is going to do the best.
I
Yeah,
agree.
absolutely.
Yeah. How about you, Sam?
2021, man. I hope that this. Well, I don't want to say I don't want to say let's make COVID disappear, because I think whether COVID is here or not, you're still responsible for your success and your failures.
Absolutely.
Like if you're blaming COVID for your lack of success, there's an inherent fundamental problem with how you see success. Right, you shouldn't see success as whether there's COVID or not.
Yeah.
Yes, and I know there's some people watching this who are like, what are you talking about, Sam? I lost my business during pandemic. Okay, I truly feel sorry for you, but however, there's something to be said about you get punched once. It's about how well you get up.
Yep.
Right? There's a Rocky Balboa
Yeah.
quote on that. Right? It's not about how much you get hit, but how much you can take
Get
the hits.
hit.
Right? Right? Get hit and
Keep
get
going.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
How much you could take and
Yeah.
keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to work out to all those motivational speaking videos.
Yeah. So with that being said, guys, I sincerely hope success and fortune for whatever you do.
Yes.
I want to say a blessing upon you guys. I hope 2021 you guys break through. You guys make whatever goals achieved.
Numbers
right?
chapter 6, 24 through 26. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Make
Yeah.
his face shine upon
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Be gracious to you. May the Lord give you, turn his face towards you and give you peace. Say this to my people and they will be blessed.
Yeah.
All right.
There
so
you
I'm
go.
gonna quote Marshawn Lynch: "Protect y'all's chicken, protect y'all's money, right? Protect y'all's eggs." So happy New Year, guys. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Yeah.
See you guys.
All right. How long are you guys sticking around today?